Hey guys, NS Gaming here. Welcome back to the Secret World. When we last left off, we were gonna get some missions here, and why do I have to repeat this quest? I don't know, but let's start with this one.
Jeez, you never saw anything like this in the cop shows. Well, maybe on cable. Not the network ones. You wouldn't know it from looking out there, but before that wicked bad fog rolled in, Kingsmouth was a sleepy little burg. Nothing stronger on the streets than a hot cup of coffee and chocolate-glazed donuts from Susie's. The occasional DUI or domestic disturbance. Human sacrifice. But every town has a dark side, right? We sure are getting a heaped help in the darkness now, eh? The Walking Dead and worse besides taking over our town. Us survivors hold up in here, hoping it's all just a bad dream and we'll wake up to the smell of bacon and maple syrup. Unless someone ups and does something, and soon, all we're gonna wake up to is the smell of rotten flesh. And I don't need another thing to remind me of my dad.
His dad has issues.
Back the memories, eh?
His dad has issues. Okay, so now it's saying, oh yeah, you can run that now. I don't know, yeah, servers are just a little bit off. I think a lot of it'll be resolved when it's not, you know, as high population as it is right now. So this, I made a couple little changes really quick before switching over. So if you have a preference in format, let me know, else I'll probably stick to the second one, mainly because some of the under the hood stuff is the same as what I was using before playing through normally, and I gotten a little used to it. So now we have a little defense bit. Nothing too crazy. Everybody in this town has a thing for maple syrup. I don't quite understand it, and I'm not sure I want to. Oh, inventory must be full. Don't mind me, do-da-da-do. Do-da-do-do.
Those zombies are making a mess of that north barricade.
It's alright. We got AoE. So yeah, nothing too crazy with this one, just introducing some horde mechanics, area defense, not too hard.
Coming in from the south side now.
Don't expect the I just completely derailed my train of thought.
You're taking another barricade apart.
Yeah, it's gone. Train is gone.
Good job. We held off the undead hordes for another day.
So, one thing I also should probably establish is the group dynamic. I am the DPS of the group. My one friend who's been playing longer with me is the tank, and our newcomer is the healer. And as a unit, it works very, very well. Alas, it doesn't really show with these its current conditions, how well that group dynamic works. So yeah, these Draug are some ancient race. We're going to be looking more into them. Kind of just blowing past a lot of the lore and story. Which, like, I probably shouldn't, but at the same time, we're going to focus a lot more on, like, what's new once we get to the part that's new for all of us, or at least new to our new recruit. More movies.
Now the Walking Dead? I can wrap my head around that. They're dead folk, just walking is all.
Quite
But those
insightful.
other things? Tall and pale, slimy as maggots. They washed up with the fog. They came and dragged the townsfolk out to sea. Drowned them. Just like my dad with the kittens. He took them out to sea in a garbage bag. Said they were gonna go for a swim. Said they needed the exercise. They never came back. A few years later, neither did my dad. Jeez, I still miss those kittens.
I bet you do.
The townsfolk, they did come back, dragging what looked like eggs. The big uns, they come out of those eggs, like something from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They're littered all over the place and guarded, and I'm thinking to myself, Andy, that's gotta mean something. That's gotta be a clue. Why keep an eye on something if it ain't valuable? That's police work. That's deduction, plain and simple. So I'm thinking, what came first, the maggot or the egg? Obviously the egg, right?
And this will lead us to the last side quest that we've done thus far. And if I've forgotten that we did one, by the time we get to the other stuff that I know we haven't done yet, we'll just take that as well, because it's something there and it's convenient to do. Once again, the Sprint 3 helps. For the PvP, we're doing pretty decent as well, just as a faction. Probably just delve briefly into that sometime later on when the gang's all here. And I have quite a few like special moves to deal increased damage, as you kind of see on the hotbar, but I've really only been using my 1 and 2. And these 1 and 2s fall under the category of builders, and they build like little resources as seen as like little targets, or down here with the blue. We can scrap more of this. And the skills that are built up can be used to execute stronger moves or other abilities. And now we just kind of maulers and brood pods. So back to the actual shore. Got a little bit ahead of myself, but we're going out later. Probably could have combat rolled out of it, but that's fine. So that's one of the consumables, and as is pretty apparent, it does a substantial little bit of damage there. So that's an impaler. Hello, friend. Once again, Toshiba, thank you for your concern, but really it doesn't matter what it's trying to push. Granted, you should probably always try to keep your stuff in check, but right now that's not a big problem. So we should have incubators around here. There's usually a lot of them. I don't know. There they are. Just a little bloated. So, the idea kind of behind this is you're working your way backwards through the kind of chain of defense and command. You have the impalers, which are the general area guards, maulers, which are direct guards, and the brood pods, which function sort of as the eggs. Well, where do the eggs come from? They have to be taken by incubators over to the shore. And once we get through this, we have to figure out where exactly the incubators themselves come from. And they are created by these brood witches, which we might be able to see some of it in action. But they do some like magic stuff, and bada bing, bada boom, they become a carrier. I should be using my my other skills a bit more often, just to speed things up a bit. This one's on its own, so we can take this one on without much of a worry about getting hit or anything. And do let me know if the music and stuff is too quiet. It was the problem that everything else was too loud initially. But I feel I may have gone... Where is it going? Fly, you fools, fly. What was... As I've said, the servers being a little funky today. Maybe more than a little bit, but they're definitely off. Now we just gotta find the big dude who presumably is the father of all these other things. It's kind of ambiguous. I don't know where he is. He might have just not spawned in, or somebody else taking care of him first, but generally is pretty easy to see. And once we, you know, find him, be fairly readily apparent. There we are. This big old fella. Hello there. This, on the right here, that is a dungeon. I don't know which one, but I do know that it is too high a difficulty rating for me. Need more slots. Well, do that, and need to shrink inventory. At least one more should work. There we go. Got this, we can break down. Sort out the inventory. There we go. And we can warp back to the police station. Yeah, I am liking this setup a bit more. I don't know how it's gonna look on the post end, but This is much more comfortable, just as playing in terms of responsiveness. But next, we take on the missions of Mr. Sandy Moose Jansen. Bye.